Hello and welcome to Three Questions With. Got my buddy Mark with us. Mark is the solar biker. Hey Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Kevin. Good to be here.
So Mark, I just have maybe an easy question for you. I find people get confused over solar options. How does someone know if solar is right for them?
Well, there's a lot of different things that need to be considered on the back end. It's a pretty simple equation. Part of the approval process is making sure that the customer is going to save money. That's the first and foremost. And in most cases, it's kind of a dead in the water deal because everybody wants to do the right thing, be green. But if it's going to cost me a ton of money, then I don't want to do it. A lot of people feel that way. There are some really good tools online that you can look at. One of the websites that I like to look at is energysage.com, energysage.com. And it basically just plugs in. I mean, you got to be careful how far in you go because it basically plugs in your address that you're looking at. And it'll do a calculation based on Google Sun Earth and tell you what you could expect to save, whether you go purchase, lease, power, just simple power purchase. That's probably one of the easiest tools, and it takes less than 3 minutes to use.
So what's the process if someone wants to consider installing solar on their home or business? How do they start?
Easiest way is to give us a call and we go through a very quick 5 to 10 minute conversation. I run some back end information on my end just to see if the house is positioned properly. It'll look at the azimuth of the roof and give me some basic ideas of whether or not the address makes sense. And then what I do after that is I come back and I like to make sure that all parties involved are there for a conversation. And then it becomes informational. I can actually give them, here's the math breakdown to show you exactly what would happen mathematically. And if it makes sense to the customer and it makes sense to the company, then my company takes over and we roll everything forward. We do all the back end work with permitting and site surveys and inspections. We take care of everything from there. And the customer just has to be there for a survey, like to be at the house, and then be there for an install if we get it approved.
How long is the turnaround time? How long does it typically take to have it installed?
Common misconception. It's usually 1 to 2 months from the first time we talk, if everything's going smoothly.
No.
I like to give people worst case scenario and come in on the inside of that. Have I had it happen in 3 weeks? Sure. It's unlikely. Realistically speaking, it's a 1 to 2 month process from the first time we have a conversation to the point they're physically installed.
But now, can you assist somebody? Because like you mentioned earlier, there's different options. You can lease it, you can buy it. Can you help people understand like what's the best way to go?
Yeah, and I never tell somebody what the right way 100% is. I always like to lay out the options.
Yep.
And let their scenario kind of dictate what way I would consult them to do.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody's thinking, hey, I'm going to sell my house in 2 years, then probably ownership isn't the best way for them to go. You take the free system that you just get the cheap power out of, because it actually is a selling feature that will sell your house for more money faster if you don't own the solar. On the other hand, if somebody says, hey, this is where I want to be for the rest of my life, then ownership is typically a better way to go, because once you're done paying for it, you own the power for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that was pretty much where I was going with that question. So Mark, how can people reach out to you? How can they learn more?
So the easiest way is to simply call me at 978-645-1261. You can also email me at mark@thesolarbikerllc.com. And that goes right into my inbox.
Awesome. Mark, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes to join the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Appreciate you.